so everyone knows, I'm going to say we are building a dashboard. It's going to be similar to what I have here for Boeing, with the employee names, open work orders, open PMs, closed. And we're going to start from scratch. So first thing you do is log in to Sprocket and go to Reporting, then click on Dashboard. And the first thing you'll have to do is click on Add a Tab, and then name the tab whatever you want. I'm going to name mine Graphs. I'm going to enter the same description. Now here you see I already had a tab called Reports, but now I have my tab called Graphs, and that's where I'm going to put my graphs. So the first thing I'm going to do is click on Add a New Report or Add a New Chart. Chart is anything that's going to have a graph on it. And I have to name it. So I'm going to call mine Open Work Orders and PMs. And then we select a report from the drop-down. Now you see a lot of reports. Some of them I built, some of them were already there. But we need to go down to Work Status. Is going to be the one that's going to build these charts for us. So we select it, and then we get a detailed report. We'll leave it as Work Status. And then what tab do we want it under? If you have multiple tabs like I do, I have Reports or Graphs. You select them. I'm just going to leave mine on Reports since it's already there. Then we select the X-axis. So what do we want going across the bottom of the chart? In this case, I want the employee names going across the bottom. So I'm going to select Employee. And then for the Y-axis, we select what we want going up or down on the chart. So I'm going to start with PMs. I want the PMs, and then you select what type. If you want a pie chart, a bar chart, etc. If I have two different categories that are going to make a total, I personally like either the stacked column, or there is the stacked bar goes left to right, column is up and down. So I like the stacked column. So I select that. I'm going to click Add a Series because I want two things that are going to be stacked. And I'm also going to stack the work orders in a stacked column. So I have that selected. Then you put your graph height and width. I like 400 high and usually 600 wide, depending on the number of employees. You can go back and forth. But the next thing you do is click Preview Chart. And it's going to show you a preview of what your chart is going to look like. So here it is. Here's all of our employees and the unassigned. So if we want to change the way it looks, this is pretty ugly. You just right-click on it and go to Properties. And then here we have Styles. You can click through each of them, and as you click them, you can apply them and see in the background what it's going to look like. I know from experience the one that I like is Tanzanite, so I'm just going to go ahead and go to Tanzanite and apply it. I like my red and green. You can make it 3D if you want by going to 3D and enable 3D. So I applied it, and you see the 3D effects. The labels, if you want to show labels on it, this can get a little bit busy, but what it will do is give you the raw numbers inside of it. You'll see what I'm talking about. Maybe. Okay, it's going to make a liar out of me. But what that should do is give you the number of work orders, and it'll place the number inside of that color on that column. Like I said, it makes it really busy. I'm just going to hit OK. If you're happy with this, you can go ahead and save chart. But again, from experience, I also know I don't like all this blank space here. So I'm going to right-click on my legend and go to Properties, and then click on the Legend tab, and I'm going to move it inside of my chart area. I said I just know from experience I like it inside the chart. It makes the chart a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to click Save Chart. Now here is the first chart on my dashboard. So again, at a glimpse, I can see where the work is, how it's distributed, where my PMs are. Really, there's only two guys that have PMs assigned to them, it looks like. If you don't like this 3D effect, like I'm noticing it's playing tricks on my peripheral. It looks almost like MMOS has some of these PMs. You click on the wrench up here, Edit Dashboard. Tell it yes, and it takes you right back into the same thing we were just looking at. I'm going to click Preview Chart again. I'm going to right-click on it and go to Properties, and I'm going to take that 3D off because I don't like it. So I took the 3D off. I look at it and say, yep, that's what I want. So I'm going to save the chart. You notice it's going to go away, but it's not truly updating. The only time this updates is when you double-click on the tab. So I'm going to double-click on Reports. And see it updated, and it says updated 327 at 3:07, which is about an hour before now. It said Sprocket is Mountain Time, so until we get this on our server, it's going to show an hour behind. So this is the first one of the charts. It's complete. I'm going to go ahead and build the second. I'm going to add a new chart. I'm going to say close work orders and PMs month to date. I'm going to go to the same report, to the work status, and I'm going to put it on the Reports tab. I want the employee on the bottom again. And then I want the closed PMs and closed work orders charts to be done, and I'm going to do the same. You know, for this one, I guess for demo purposes, we'll just go with the stacked bar. So, and you can play with it. If you change it to stacked bar and you say, I don't like it after you preview it, you just go change it. So I'm going to preview it, and here we are. So now it's just going left to right instead of top to bottom. Again, I don't like it. I'm going to go back to stacked column. And I'm going to preview it again. So now it's back to the way I like it. And you can right-click on it and go and change if you want this one a different color than the others, or et cetera. But again, I like it standard, so I'm just going to save it the way it is. So now I've got this, and you move it around your dashboard by clicking where it's blue and placing it where you want it. And it'll remember it the next time you log in. So now that I've got that, the next one I want to add is my over 30. Over 30 is a personal pet peeve of mine, so I'm going to do open work orders and PMs over 30 days. It's the same report. It's work status. On the x-axis, I'm going to put my employees, and then I'm going to do open PMs over 30. I'm going to add the open work orders over 30. And you can put as many rows on this on the y-axis as you want. I break them up so that it's not overly busy for me. I'm not as smart as I look, so I have to make up for it. So here's my over 30 chart. I know it's set up how I like it, so I'm going to save it. And I moved it down right where I want it. So I can see there's a lot of over 30s here that are unassigned. So you got 70 of them you really need to assign. And then you can see who your big people are that are over 30 days. Okay, so that's it for the charts. That's the three that I really like to see. The next one I'm going to add is going to be a grid. So I'm going to add a grid. And this one's going to be open work orders by priority, because I do want to know how many work orders I have open. Now here we have a couple of, sorry, I'm going to move it, a couple of reports again, and I'm just looking for the one that I want. There it is. It's the open work orders by priority. So I click on that, and then you just have to set the height and the width based on what it is. I think 200 by 200 is probably good. We'll preview it. Yep, that looks good. Everything fits. So I see right now there's 51 open work orders with the priority of stat. I'd be willing to bet that there's not really 51 that need to be done stat, that it's probably someone putting in the wrong priorities, or customers prioritizing their own work. Of course, it's important to them and needs to be done now. So I like having that one on my dashboard. And the last one that I like having on my dashboard is average days to close. And for that one, it's the average number of days by priority. I might make that one a little bit bigger just because I know it's slightly bigger. It has a few more columns. So again, these are how many have been closed in the last 90 days. So in the last 90 days, there's been 74 work orders with a priority of 1 stat closed. The total number of days have been 3,637 days with average 49 days, which really isn't good. But everybody's reports are going to look like this, everybody's dashboards initially, until you go in and start cleaning up the data. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. And move it down to where I want it. You can also shrink it by putting your mouse over and getting your arrows, so you can shrink them down and move them a little bit if you want. So that's it for creating the dashboard. So after that, if I wanted to update it, so tomorrow when I log in, I'll just come up here and double-click on Reports, and it'll reload them all from scratch. And that is going to be it for this dashboard tutorial.